Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Defenders Live. I am your host, Lora Thorson. Molly Metz is a 5-time world champion jump rope athlete. She's a coach and an entrepreneur who has spent her life mastering one of the most deceptively demanding skills on the planet. She began jump roping at age 7. She won her first world title at age 10 and went on to build a career defined not just by elite performance, but by precision, discipline, and relentless work ethic. As the founder of Jump and Rope, Molly has coached athletes and everyday people in more than 800 gyms worldwide, helping them develop real skill under pressure. She's also an inventor and an advocate who has fought publicly for creator and inventor rights after seeing firsthand how laws can hurt individuals. In this conversation, we're going far beyond jump rope. We're talking about what it takes to build mastery, how Molly thinks about training and failure, what happens when life and business knock you flat, and what it looks like to keep fighting, even when the opponent is bigger than you. Before we get started, make sure you're subscribed, whether you're watching on Rumble or YouTube or listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you find this show. If you don't want to miss another episode, head to defenders-live.com and become a free subscriber. That way, every new episode gets delivered straight to your inbox. And if you're looking for top-tier firearms and self-defense training, go to defenders-usa.com and check the calendar to see what's coming to your area this year. Hey, Molly.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
I'm excited and thank you for asking me.
Yeah. I have a feeling we're going to have a good time.
I think so too. And life is short, so we have to have a good time. So
I know, right? So it seems like, I don't know, and I know you're not supposed to ask a woman her age, but I feel like we're around the same age. I'm in my mid-40s.
Yes, I think I'm older than you.
Oh, okay.
I slipped into some good light today.
You look great for your age, whatever it is, Molly.
It's all the jump
rope. Yeah. So I want to get to know you a little bit better right out of the gate. And I want our audience to get to know you a little bit better because I'm fascinated by your world. It's not a world I'm familiar with. I'm slightly familiar with CrossFit. I've done a little bit of it, but nothing like you have. But the question that keeps popping in my mind, and it may seem silly to you, but why jumping rope? What was it about that when you were young that drew you to it? And what made you continue?
Yeah, that's a great question. So never did I think as a little kid that jump rope would be my thing. But actually it wasn't just my thing. I grew up on a small farm, right? So as a young, little girl, I would just run around the farm and I didn't like to shower and I was dirty and I was just like, a gross little kid.
Okay, we are kindred spirits already. Okay.
So when I got to school, I'm like, where can I be gross and dirty? Is like on the playground or playing sports and all of that. So it was a little jock, just by a young age. My elementary school had an assembly and it was a jump rope team. They came in and I just thought it was wild. They were doing double dutch and there was flips and, there were older kids, teenagers, and you just look up to them. And I was like, softball, track, all that I'm doing. I'm like, no, I'm going to try this. I want to do this. I come from a family of 5, so a big family, the small farm, and it's not like I can do all these sports. My mom is kind of raising me. And anyway, the jump rope team. So I go home, I tell my mom about it, and she's like, you can't join that team. But then I told her, I'm like, but Mom, it's free. And she's like, okay, you can join that team. So it was such a cool program. And I'm so fortunate and lucky, grateful, I guess, is this jump rope team in Boulder. It was like a 10-minute drive from where I live. My coach is the founder of the sport of jump rope, right? So he, at the time, this was I don't even know, early 80s. He's just trying to pave the way and just to tell the world literally that jump rope was more than a playground activity, that it was going to become a world known sport, that you can compete and do all these things. So I was a part of that. So I joined the team, and I, being the little jock that I am, and I have to like master everything. I made what's called the international traveling team at the age of 8.
Wow.
So he really made sure that he trained you up. We would have 4 a.m. practices. It was hard. It was intense as a little kid. But you were really
That's a
part of
lot.
something new. Yeah. I mean, you were watching this creator create, and you would just see him in meetings and talking to PE teachers. And he was really also, we would make these teams and we would travel. My first trip was to Panama, and we would do shows at elementary schools, and then we put on camps. And so I became a coach at quite a young age, and I would teach all these other kids my age, but I had to act like an adult and teach them what I knew, and then I would teach the PE teachers. So it was very surreal now that I look back on it, but it was just kind of normal at the time. As a kid, you're like,
Wow.
all right, this is our job, we're going to go show, we're going to teach, we're going to build this sport. So
Is
that's what I
it partially too, like, as a kid, there's this sense of, at least for me, I wasn't as scared of failure back then as I am now. Like,
Yeah,
do you
that
know
was,
what I mean? Like, nothing's impossible when you're a kid, it feels like sometimes.
I think you're right. And also in the 80s, I mean, we
Yeah.
slid down hot slides, right? There was no plastic slides, right?
Right,
We
right.
did it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there was just no fear. And I have to say, my coach, he just instilled confidence into us and
Mm.
hard work ethic. Uh,
Yeah,
and it was hard. But like you said, you're a kid and you just do it. It just became part of my, second nature, and I loved it. It really defined who I am today. I like to say I'm of service. I love working with people. It kind of fills me up. I
mhm,
think I'm an introvert by nature, because
yeah,
even joining that team, I was quite shy.
mm.
So that did bring out a lot of, like, my shyness.
You're a
Um,
lot like me. I'm an introvert as well, but watching you, I wouldn't think you're an introvert. Because
no,
because right now as you're speaking, you look like an extrovert, and I'm the exact same way. When I coach or when I teach, it fills me up so much that people think I'm an extrovert, but I'm really not. Because
yeah,
when
but
I'm done, I'm exhausted.
I was just gonna say, but when you go home, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
So am I. So
Wow.
you have to find a balance. You know that. I mean, you do what fills you, and then you go be alone, and
Yeah.
go for a run or a hike, or just be in a room by yourself.
And
But
so
yeah,
that work ethic, has that always just been like, do you feel like that's part of your DNA, or do you think that was really a learned behavior early on that you just carried through your life?
that's a good question. And if I really had to just guess, I would say it was part of my DNA.
Yeah.
Because being on that team felt so normal. I never thought of it as like a burden, And I
Mm.
think if it was kind of a burden, I would think maybe it wasn't for me. It was forced. I just
Hmm.
wanted more, I wanted more and more and more. I don't know how I learned that. So maybe I
Yeah.
was just born with wanting to learn and being a sponge and wanting to just it's being a part of a team too. I think that sense of family and community.
Yeah.
um, Not really a big individual sport player, and I wasn't ever like a triathlete or something. It's just, I don't want to be one because there's nobody to do it with,
Huh.
you know. I don't know.
But this
That's
is what's interesting to me is, like, some people have I have things that I did when I was a kid that I've excelled at, I did so good at, but I didn't carry them into my adulthood. But
mm,
you carried this throughout your life. So I'm trying to figure out what the through line is about this particular thing that has allowed you to carry it throughout your life. And maybe it is that being filled up by helping other people learn component to it. Um, that's just
yeah.
fascinating to me.
You kind of gave me the goosebumps a little bit, because now I asked myself, okay, why didn't I? So I was in high school and I had lots of scholarship offers for basketball and soccer, and one would think, Molly, you take your scholarship offers, and I didn't.
Hmm.
Uh, so should there have been a scholarship offer for jump rope? Perhaps, right? So I reflect on what jump rope did for me, but also for other kids. And as I got older, and even being a part of that. So when you're a part of jump rope, it's almost like everyone can do it. Everyone's welcome. It's a jump rope. There's no ball. You don't have to hit, those sports were hard. I was good at them, but I would very much acknowledge that, there's kids in the corner that aren't getting asked to play,
Mm.
or they're just really scared. But jump rope brought everyone together. And I think you just hit the nail on the head by asking me, like, I don't know. I'm hitting the nail on the head, I guess, by seeing this now. It's like, that's what brought this into my life now. I mean, when I started jumping rope, my full intention was to work with kids. And I'm
Oh,
like, every kid can do this. That means
yeah,
every kid can learn to be healthy,
right.
right? And maybe they can feel what I felt, right? This just fun. You don't even realize after an hour you're hanging out with your friends, jumping up and down, you're all sweaty, right? And I think that's a problem anyway in our country and our world, is just getting kids active.
Right.
So I think that's the answer. It's just such a accessible, wonderful, you have the creativity, you have the endurance, it's just everything. It's like kind of everything mixed in one.
And it
So
sounds like you still enjoy it. Like, I see this joy in you talking about it.
I
And
do.
yeah.
Yeah, you think, like, I've done all these seminars now across the world. So, my business has changed. I've been in business now for, I think, 18 years. It's a long time. But in 18 years, the business has shifted so much,
Mhm.
from working with kids, getting a patent, doing a manufacturing business, traveling the world with the team, and then going into CrossFit, working with CrossFit athletes. Um, yeah, I just, anything with jump rope, I'm just passionate about. I love it. I'm always thinking about it. Um, even to this day. I mean, right? A good coach, I think, is always getting better. I'm good at what I do, but I always get better.
It's
So
crazy to hear you say that because, like, you're talking about jumping rope as that, like you say, anyone can do it. And yet, you were literally the world champion. Like,
yeah, not anymore, but yeah.
I know, but and at such a young age, like that's not just good at jumping rope. That is wouldn't that be like living, breathing, everything I do revolves around it kind of a lifestyle?
Yeah, and dating back and closing my eyes and going to 7 years old, it really became everything. I mean, the other sports I did, I really prevailed, like I said, scholarship offers, and still really focusing on those. But yeah, jump rope, for some reason, I think the reasons we just explained, just was captivating. And
Hmm.
going home, and I remember doing like backflips on my carpet with my jump rope. You're just like wanting to just go, 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 because there's just so much you can stack onto that sport. Basketball, you can, I guess, run faster and shoot better, but that's kind of it, right? Jump rope,
Huh.
you can do more tricks. You can add more things to it.
So the creativity component is appealing to you as well.
It was. Now I'm really just focused on, it's so hard for adults to jump rope. And
Yeah,
maybe you know this in
I
CrossFit.
do know this. Yeah.
And that was so interesting for me when I was introduced to CrossFit. And these athletes are like, "Can you help me do this?" I'm like, "Can't everybody do this?" you know but we only have what we have in our head. We think everyone's kind of gone through our life in some sense, but no, it's hard. It's really, really hard. And there's just so much, you know, body brain awareness, it's right side, left side. It's just everything. I mean, it's so, anyway, that just interests me. And that's why I started doing seminars and developing, a really understandable progression for athletes to follow. If you take my course for 2.5 hours, it's going to go over because I talk too much. And also, you're gonna get a big, just like this profound understanding of like the why, and then I go in your brain and we undo it all and we just like put it back together. And I love
Mm,
that. And then
mm,
people leave and they're like, I love jump rope. And that makes me happy. If you love
yeah.
jump rope, because nobody really likes it when they're older. It's
I
hard.
I do not even a little bit. No,
So
I
we're
really
gonna have
don't.
to work
So
together. Yeah,
maybe I could be reintroduced to it.
you could.
Yeah.
It's gonna
So
happen.
so there were some I don't know if there's anything else you want to explain about that journey, but I do know from what little I know of you, there were some major roadblocks. And was the first one the car accident or was it the inventor thing?
The
Which is
car accident. Yeah, I wouldn't call the car accident a roadblock. I mean, one would call it one at the time. Any
yeah.
athlete that goes through their windshield and breaks their, ankle in several places. Well, I
How
went
old were you?
I went in and out. So I like hit it and then came back in. Um, 2004. Now you're really gonna find out my age. I have to
You
do
don't have
math.
to say. So
Um,
20 years ago, you were in a
yeah,
car accident. Okay.
yeah.
That's
Um,
all we need to say. Okay.
yeah. And so at the time I was still competing. I won my last world championship in 2002, so 2 years before that car accident. Um, and I was working for a publishing company, and I was also on the board of directors for the USA Jump Rope organization, right? So I would travel around all over, and I would help judges become judges in the sport, and just really active in a higher, level of jump rope.
Mhm.
Um, anyway, I was working for this publishing company, and when I got in the car accident, it really woke me up. I mean, literally, like going through your windshield, and you just have these questions that come to your mind, or I did, is like, what are you doing with your life?
Mm.
And meaning the publishing company. I mean, I
Yeah.
was working with this company, putting all this effort in, and I'm like, why am I not doing something bigger? And I didn't know what it was. But I did know what it was, because at the board of directors, we would have these meetings, creative meetings, and I presented something. It was called "At the End of Your Rope" program, and I thought that was
Clever.
clever.
Yeah.
But basically, I just was watching kids who were 18 going to college, and they were stopping the sport of jump rope. And I thought, how do we keep these kids engaged? How do we, maybe they can get jobs. So I presented this program, which would be, when they leave college, let's hook them up with rec centers, YMCAs, come in there, put the curriculum together, get them the ropes they need, and they'd have jobs. And then we'd grow, right? We would just have more. Anyway, they thought that was ridiculous. And I was like, no, it's not. And I was like, this is jumping rope, right? That was going to be my business. And you
Oh,
think you're going to do something right away, you're excited, but you get scared. I'm a human. I had insurance, health insurance, and a job with a lot of money. And
been there.
maybe I'm speaking to normal people out there, but it was comfortable.
Yeah.
So it was 3 or 4 years later that I finally quit that job and took that business plan and implemented jumping rope.
And do you think that in part the car accident had something to do with that?
Of course,
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I still think of it today. It's just kind of literally knocks you out of place and into something else.
Mm.
As an athlete, maybe even anyone who moves their body, when you're put out for a couple months, you can't do what you do, and you're stuck, right? And you literally have all this thinking time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good. I mean, I hated it, but it was just really good.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I like how you put that into perspective, because like you, I feel the same way. When I have too much downtime, it's very uncomfortable for me.
yeah.
And sometimes, honestly, the best thing for me to do is just be really honest in that being uncomfortable, because that's a new kind of uncomfortable. Like, it's not the kind I enjoy, but it
No,
must be the kind I need in that moment.
yeah.
And a lot of good things can come from it if I don't just resist it the whole entire time.
That's the right word. And it almost takes getting in the boot and breaking the ankle. You almost need months for people like us, like a week. It's not enough,
Mhm.
you got to really put us down to be like, listen,
Mhm.
there's a lesson for you here.
Yeah.
So I love that too, because anytime something really hard comes into my life, I know there's a light, at the end of the tunnel. I don't always know when.
Mm.
Um, and I'm not to say I'm human, right? During that process is freaking hard. But if you can always remember there's a little light there.
Even back then, though, while that was happening, did you have a sense of, I'm not dreaming big enough? There's something else out there for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, did you
Yeah,
have like this little sense or inkling of that, but you were just scared to pursue it?
I think when I made the presentation at that board of directors meeting, um, I felt so, maybe it's the word humiliated. I couldn't
Mm.
believe that nobody was on track with what I wanted to do. And first reaction was, I'm stupid. You leave there, everyone's looking at you, they're laughing at you, and you're like, I'm going to just show
Wow, it
this
was
is
that
my biggest.
bad, huh?
Well, I mean,
Jeez.
and the whole room is just saying no, and you're
Right.
kind of like, no, this is like the greatest thing.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah. And you learn from that though, and you follow your gut, and you follow your dreams, and you follow those visions. um and it took me 3 or 4 more years to do it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I forgot what the question was. Did I know?
Yeah, did you have some sort of sense that something bigger was out there for you?
Yeah, I think by being on those boards, I thought that was like the place to be, and to be bigger and grow bigger, and make the sport bigger. I didn't know at that time what that meant for me.
Mhm.
I thought maybe it meant working with the board and being a team and growing. I didn't know if that was going to result in me branching off on my own and building my own business.
And
So
that's turned out to be a very good thing, it sounds like.
very much so. Any business owner out there, I mean, it's a 24/7 hour, 24/7 a day. How do you say it? 24/7 job.
Never ending.
It's never ending, but it is. You pick and choose when you get your breaks, and you define the success. And I don't know. There's something about that. It's on you.
Mhm.
You like to work hard, then it's for you.
Mm-hmm.
So
So then when did now you'll have to give me some background here on how the laws change and this and all of this stuff you invented, tell me what you invented and
okay.
how all of this came to be with you being an advocate now for inventors.
Right. So I started jumping rope in 2007 or 8, and that's when I just went off and I started going to rec centers and schools and working with kids. I was still competing at the time. And in the sport of jump rope, there's entities. You can do freestyle, crossing skills, music. I'm not that. I'm not the creative, even though I liked that as a kid. I'm more the speed athlete. I want to go fast and I just want to win all the speed events. So you need a speed rope. You need a rope that's going to be like workable for you, right? Like in golf. I mean, I don't know all the clubs, but there's just reasons that they do what they do. That you hit the ball further,
Yeah.
farther, and more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what I designed. I designed a jump rope to be accurate and perfect, and like if it breaks in the middle of the competition, you have to do a re-jump, and that was happening all the time. So like there's just so many little things that you're looking for. In no way was I trying to build a jump rope for anyone else but myself. That process took, I don't know, 2 years tinkering around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you're doing it for yourself, there's no timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just kind of doing that. And long story short, obviously I made this perfect jump rope, right? It's um, everybody wanted it. And a friend of mine who was helping me put it together, he's like, we got to go for a patent. Let's protect this.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, I know nothing about them. You hire an attorney, right? Just like an accountant, you get somebody who has that expertise. So yeah, I was granted 2 U.S. patents. It was a lengthy process. I don't know, it's like $40,000 in my sense. It was a lot of money. So a lot of
Wow.
borrowing from friends and family. Yeah. So I was, the first one was awarded in 2010 and the second one in 2012. And really the timing of all that, it matters because that inspired me to start a little jump rope business, like shop, right? So I would
Mm-hmm.
manufacture the ropes in my basement, and it's not some big thing, and I was happy to sell one rope a day. And CrossFit was starting to boom, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about it. And CrossFit was pushing weightlifting and pushing gymnastics and pushing jump rope,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought jump ropes were just for the jump ropers. So yeah, I can stop. But I think you asked about laws and everything else. But that's when I got my patents, and really it inspired me to build the manufacturing business. But anyway, so 2010 and 11, I start to see other companies online selling my exact jump rope. So I was like, I have
Uh-oh.
these patents. Isn't it mine? It's my property. And so things were good. I would reach out, like, let's say you were selling my jump ropes, and I would write to you or call you and, hey, did you know I'm the patent owner? And you might say no. And I said, okay, well, I am the patent owner, and let's set up a licensing deal. Or if you're getting these from China or somewhere else, I didn't know where you were getting them from, I'll manufacture for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
just good ethical business. I mean,
Right.
that's how
Win-win.
it works.
Mm-hmm.
So that was happening. And I was setting up all these deals. At the time, one of my bigger deals was with Again Faster. If you've been around, maybe you've heard of them before. I think they might still be in business. So my little shop selling one jump rope a day was selling like 20,000 units a month. And I was like, this is so awesome.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, what I didn't know is Congress was changing patent law in 2012. As a business owner, especially a jump rope business, I'm not following patent law. I'm just not. And yeah, so those laws changing at that time really affected me in 2018. And so maybe just so I don't sound drony, in 2012, Rogue Fitness reached out to me, or I reached out to them and said, look, I'm working with Again Faster. They said that you're interested in this technology. I'm the patent owner. I'm reaching out to you. Do you want to work? Let's do business together. And he was like, yes, let's work together.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, great. So we have all this back and forth, and we're talking about the licensing deals and how that's going to be structured. Then he divulges that he already has ordered ropes from China. I didn't like that, but that was what he had already done. I thought, okay, he's kind of jumping the gun, big cartons of jump ropes of mine coming over from China. So our deal was going to be that he would license those, and then I would manufacture for him, in the United States. So that was kind of the deal. And then everything went silent for months. And I thought, I don't know what's happening, but I guess he's silent. And then after those months, Instagram or Facebook had like a Rogue Fitness has got their new jump ropes, and it was those ropes. So I wrote him, I called him, and I said, hey, Bill, I thought we were doing a deal, like we were in the middle of negotiating, and now you're selling this technology. And he just responded and said, talk to my attorneys. So Rogue Fitness versus Jump and Rope, right? They're a big company.
Wow.
So it was 2012. It's important that everyone who's listening knows that I had just found a facility to move into for my manufacturing business, for my jump rope team. I had 150 kids. I needed to train them somewhere. And I dumped probably about $350,000 into that facility. So I was pretty strapped for cash. I have Rogue telling me, talk to their attorneys. So I just put that on hold. I thought, okay, it's one jump rope. They're infringing. Maybe I can come back to this, in a year or two. Okay. So I move forward. They move forward. And that's just when it's any business owner can tell you this. I'm actually going to an event tomorrow. It's a Shark Tank reunion, and I meet all these business owners. We think Shark Tank contestants, we love them, right? Mm-hmm. And what are the sharks always asking? Do you have a patent, right? Because they want to make sure they're protected. I go to these events, and guess what they talk about? The same thing we're talking about now. When you start a business and you have IP, everybody steals it. So we need good laws to be put in place so American business owners can stop and we can grow and do our thing. Anyway. From 2012 to 2018, Rogue, I think it was 16 new jump ropes were introduced with my technology, killing my online sales. Everybody's going there, hurting my relationships with other businesses because they're doing the ethical thing and they're saying, why does Rogue get a steal? My business is suffering. I'm really stressed out. You're thinking, how do I fight this? I need a lot of money. And so that led up to about 2015, 16. And I'm just like strung out on all ends because I'm trying to run this jump rope business. I'm making no sales. Rogue stealing. My partnerships are suffering because of it. Basically, they're saying fix this or we're going to do the same thing too. So you're kind of, your hands are behind your back in a sense, or your back is against a wall. And anyway, I shut everything down and I was like, how am I going to fight this? The only way I can fight this is just fight this, right? I'm not going to work with kids. I'm not going to do my CrossFit gym anymore. So I shut everything down in 2016, got an attorney, and I started to fight. And I'm going to change my computer. Did it get dark?
No, you look the same to me.
Okay. It's my battery's 24%. Okay. It's okay. Sorry. So I stop everything I'm doing and I'm like, okay, this is how this is going to work. I'm all in. I have this attorney. And at that point, I had over 150 companies stealing my jump ropes. I mean, they're just flooding. Talk to anyone who owns a business. Counterfeits, infringements, you have it. You name it, right? I mean, your full-time job becomes like, how do I stop all these people? Right. And then you want to market and you're like, how to get everyone over here. And I've learned a lot from that since, and we can talk about that later. But that's what I did at the time. I said, I have the IP. I have the right to do this. I have the right to stop these people. And that's what I did. So from 2016 to 2018, we shut down. That sounds bad. We stopped. We did shut down some, and all 150 companies, right?
No kidding.
Yeah. So how great is that? I mean, that's a success. It was like the story I wanted. I'm like, I'm putting all this effort in. So we set up licensing deals. And if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's here. You can sell my ropes and you give me 5% of every sale. It's very small. Yeah. So we're setting up all these deals and everything's good and everyone's just happy. I also get what's called an ITC exclusion order. And this is important because it's a big deal. I'm a US made and manufacturing business. I've always just kind of taken pride in that. Early in the game, so many people were like, bring your stuff over to China. You can save so much money. I never did that. So I've always valued that. Can't tell you why, I just do. But when you are a US made business, the ITC, the International Trade Commission will respect that in the sense where they'll stop imports coming over. So China was really heavily, bringing jump ropes over. So I was able to work with the ITC and they kind of stopped any of those jump ropes from coming over to the United States.
So what was it about the law that changed that messed things up? That's what I'm unclear on.
So that's why it's like that. My story is so weird. It's like here you hear this story, you're like, Molly, what happened? Like it's fine, right? So in 2018, when all this was settled, I sued Rogue Fitness. Okay, this is where the problem. If you sue somebody who has deep pockets, a lot of money, really good lawyers, what changed in the law is that typically when you sue somebody for anything, you go to court with a judge and a jury. They have to bring all their, discover. I get to look at all their emails and, all the ropes that they've perceivably, stolen. And then I bring all of my information too, and all my patents and all of that. So we can all bring that to the table. It's called due process. I was expecting that. So when I sued them, we went to court. And my attorney said, Molly, your court case is getting stayed. It's getting put on hold. And I said, why? And they said, because there's a new law that was put in place in 2012. And in patent law, the infringer, if they have the money to do it, can ask for the stay and send you over to this court over here. It's not a court, it's an administrative tribunal. And it was put together in 2012. And over here, you do not get due process. You don't get to speak yourself, but your patents are on the line. So basically, Rogue gets to prove to the USPTO, this tribunal, that your patents are invalid. And I thought, that's weird. Wow. But I also thought that's fine because my patents are valid, right? I've had my business for a decade, and I just went through 2 years of setting up all these deals and getting an ITC exclusion order. So I was in that moment of just like, you trust your lawyers, you trust the law. You read about this administrative tribunal is called the PTAB. If you look it up, it said it's a faster, cheaper alternative for litigation, all the positive things. So we go there. I have no choice, right? You really have no choice. It's a final thing. You're sent there. Long story short, this was during COVID. I get what's called an oral argument. It's a couple months after Rogue submits this all their reasonings why my patent is valid. It's an hour oral argument. My lawyers are just talking their lawyers, and I'm just sitting there like some dummy, right? I don't get to say anything. A couple months go by, and both my patents are found invalid. So I'm laughing now because how ridiculous. So here I am in what is this now, 2019. So I have these invalid patents. Every licensing I deal, everyone who is basically funding my fight, backed out because I don't have a patent anymore. So all my funding's gone. All that hard work is over, and I'm faced with this like, why are my patents invalid? And my lawyers are like, they really got this wrong, like because it was laughable. We can talk about this another time. I'm not going to get in the nitty gritty of patent law. So we appeal, right? You appeal to the federal courts. And that takes a year, more money, more time. And I put a lot of money into this. It's my over $500,000, by the way. I'm totally broke. It ruins a business. It ruins. So I appeal. The appeal is a year later. I go to the federal courts, and they're supposed to look at it what's called de novo. They look at it with fresh eyes, and I thought, okay, we're going to do this appeal, and 6 months will go by, and they'll see the mistake. 3 days goes by after that appeal. We get an email, and it says Rule 36 affirmed. And my attorney's like, sorry, you're over. We're done. And I was like, what is this? What is Rule 36? And they said, well, it's this new thing in the law in the federal circuit. And they just put the stamp on there. And I soon looked that up later, and I find out Rule 36 is given to like 70 or 80% of cases. They don't even look at your case. It's like they're inundated. So you just get this stamp. And I'm like, what happened to my appeal? So at that point, this is like the fall. And like any normal person, I go in my room for like a month, right? I'm like depressed. I've just spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. My patents are gone. My licensing deals are gone. Everything's gone. Just because why? This Rule 36, and just because Rogue paid money to invalidate my patents. So I start, after my depression, I get online and I start really researching, especially Rule 36. I speak to dozens of attorneys. One in particular leads me to an inventor. His name is Josh Malone, and he has a movie, and I watch it, and I just start crying because he went through the exact same thing. And then I find out that I'm not alone, that there are like thousands of other inventors who have been through this PTAB, and that the invalidation rate is close to 90%, that when you get sent there. So there's all these inventors and they're all depressed and sad and angry. And now they're part of this group. And I'm part of that group now. It's called US Inventor. They're all the misfits. They're all these brilliant American inventors who did it what I did. They paid their money for their patents. They tried to defend them with the big guys. They were sent to this PTAB and they were canceled. It's so sad. I mean, it was like therapy for me to be a part of that group. But at the same time, you're just like, so sad for our country.
If you've been listening to Defenders Live and something in you knows it's time to go deeper, not just in your training, but in your life, become a paid subscriber of Defenders Live. Each month we meet for a live group call, having real conversations about physical growth, emotional discipline, and spiritual strength. You'll be part of a growing community of people just like you, committed to becoming true defenders of life and of their families. This isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, doing the work, and not doing it alone. So go to defenders-live.com and become a paid subscriber and take your next step toward becoming the kind of defender this world desperately needs.
Anyway,
wow.
So,
I'm dumbfounded. My dog's barking. Can you hear her?
That's totally fine.
Somebody's here. She's
I
barking.
thought my cats would run in here.
I'm dumbfounded by that. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, it's called Congress, and what we learned. My husband is also an advocate, and he spends a lot of time in DC. You know, the more we dug and just like any message to anyone out there, it's so hard to fight. Like the last thing you want to do is like stick up and find out. And
well, that's the whole point of why they do it, right? Because it is so hard for you guys to fight back, and it's like an easy button for them. All they have to do is throw money at it, and easily this can be washed away, and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
that's
but come to find,
really
come to find that Congress was lobbied for a couple years up into 2011. Lobbied meaning there was lots of money spent on patent reform, like lots, like millions and millions and millions of dollars, saying, "Hey, the patent system's broke. We need this tribunal. We need to get rid of patent trolls." You know, and then they would push that in the media and be like, "Patent trolls. We got to get rid of them. We got to put them into this court." There was no patent trolls, right? And even if there was, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? You right. Just invalidated all of America's best. There was a bigger thing to that, and again, that's maybe another story for another time. But you start learning all this, and you're like, "I'm not crazy. I'm part of an injustice. I am now part of this U.S. Inventor." So that's what we've been doing for the last couple of years. And Dirk is amazing. Like I said, he's the one that does primarily all the D.C. stuff, like going to Washington, D.C. He hates it, but he loves it because it's just gross there. But I can tell you, for anyone listening, go there because the doors are open and your voice is important. It's a slow, tedious task. But I'm a true believer that one voice can attract enough voices to overcome all the big money. It just can't. You got to stay diligent. You got to keep pushing. You got to do these podcasts.
It's like all the stuff you learned as a kid jumping rope, you're applying to this. Like you have no quit in you. I mean, I love that you said, yeah, I spent like a month in depression or whatever it was. Like you were honest about it. But like I can just see you have no quit in you at all.
I wish I did sometimes. It can be annoying and hard on a relationship. I'm married. I'm not in. My life's not perfect. You know, I may be bubbly and happy here, but it causes problems, and
sure.
It's just hard. But I didn't mean to make that into a negative. It's just a reality. But you can find a balance.
Is it the injustice of it all that is what just won't let you stop? You know what I mean? Like, is it just the principle of it just seems so wrong?
The facts are that it is so blatantly wrong and so corrupt. Yeah. And I can tell you right now in 2026, and if it was 25, we got a new administration. I'm not here to push for any presidency or anything, but we got a new one. And with that came a new USPTO director. And guess what this director did? He looked at all of what that's going on in the USPTO with this tribunal, and he said, this is not fair. He has changed everything that we've been trying to change in Congress for the last few years.
So can you retroactively get reinstated with your patent?
Cannot get retroactively reinstated. It was such a surreal, happy moment to know that they applied all these new policies. I like to think that our voice and our stories has helped kind of bring that to light.
Yeah.
The work's not done, like if you would have asked me 2 years ago, should I get a patent? I would say, hell no, right? It's not doing what it's supposed to do. But I would say now, yes, the patent office has shifted. If I was to sue Rogue right now, I would have never been sent to that tribunal. I would have a
Right.
fair day in court, and I could
Right.
still lose there. I would not be doing this fight. I can lose a game, but a
Yeah.
fair game.
Yeah.
So we're elated as U.S. inventor, but the fight's not over, and maybe that's my message to anyone out there. Like, be excited for what I'm telling you, and we're happy that patents are getting their just again. But we have to change the law. So we're really still pushing legislation to sort of mimic what's been happening at the USPTO. So
I
I
just
think
can't even imagine not only the stress that would put on your relationships, your personal close relationships, but the financial stress alone would just be unimaginable.
yeah, I'm in a hole. I've been in a hole. As a small business owner, you're used to it. I mean, in 2010, 9, I think right when I was kind of shifting into the manufacturing, I foreclosed on my townhome.
Mhm.
I'm not uncomfortable telling these things to anyone because I think every business owner goes through it. You
Mhm.
just have to keep pushing, even if you're broke.
Mhm.
You just find a way and doors open.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've been operating on a huge deficit these last, I don't know, 4 years.
Yeah.
And I just know, like I said earlier, there's always a light, right? I know
Yeah.
there's a light there. Money is not everything,
What
truth
a
is
wild
everything.
ride you've been on, Molly. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's not my favorite ride, but it's a ride. I just
Not my
want my
favorite
patents
ride.
back and my licensing
Well,
deals.
and so a
Kind of confusing,
little side street to that, right, is you just recently had surgery. Tell us about what's been going on with that, and you have to have surgery again?
I do. Most people think I got this, or so I had a hip replacement. And many people are like, I knew she'd need one. She's just been pounding her body all her life. And I'm like, it's not that. So my hips are kind of we have like round hips, and they're supposed to
Mhm.
like move like
Socket?
this.
Yeah.
Sockets, yeah. My socket area is kind of square. So imagine like if it's square your whole life and this round thing is trying to move in a square socket, it's gonna rub. It cuts the labrum. It creates early arthritis. Yeah, so I've been in debilitating pain since around 2016. Um,
Wow.
and as an athlete and somebody who kind of knows PT, you try your hardest to work around it. Um, but I realized last year, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was walking like this, like waddling.
Mm.
And, I couldn't walk through airports. I can't hike anymore. I couldn't walk more than 400 meters without just being, broken. I could do a lot of things in the gym. So it was confusing to people. They're like, what's wrong with you? You're in the gym, like kicking ass. And I'm like, I can't walk to the store. That's not a way to live. So yeah, I got my right hip replaced, and the left one, maybe I'll do this summer or this fall. I am elated. I did not know how chronic pain affects you. I mean, you don't know until you know.
You
Um,
just got used to that being your normal?
and I just feel for everyone who has chronic pain.
Oh.
It makes me sad. I don't know why it makes me sad because I'm just like, why did I do this earlier?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just so happy. I'm crying from happiness too. It's just, you know,
Yeah.
technology, right? I mean, these hip replacements are so easy. I was walking the same day. I walked 4 miles the other day, and I'm like walking. I'm like CrossFit athlete, and I'm like, I can go for a fucking walk.
And that's only one hip. The other one hasn't even been done yet.
I know. Yeah, the other one kills still, but I'll get
Aw.
that one done. Just to have one good one has given. I mean, imagine if you talk to me when the other one's done. I'm going to be like off the walls.
Yeah, you're gonna be skipping instead of
I,
walking. Wow.
yeah. So I have a friend I met. Because when you get a hip replacement, you're like, can I still do everything I can do? And of course, I found a doctor who said, yes, you can. And then you find athletes. And anyway, this woman, she's a runner, and she got 2 hip replacements also. And she just qualified for the Boston Marathon. And I'm like, I think I might have to do some Guinness records with 2 fake hips.
Oh
So
my
I
gosh.
might have to get back into that mode.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have been through a lot, Molly.
We all have. I mean, we just have. If you talk to every human, and that's
You
what
know, most people though, they wouldn't have gone as far as you did.
They wouldn't, and they
And that
don't.
was the whole point. I know that's the point of it all anyway, but
Yeah.
most people wouldn't. They would have, like, caved and been like, I can't fight this. It's too big." And you're like, "No, I'm doubling down. This is wrong."
Yeah. And those people in the inventor community actually what help keep me going. I'm human. There's days I'm just like, I want to quit. I'm going to quit. But then you get on the phone with one of those people who are saying, I'm not doing this. I can't do this. I'm done. I'm angry. And you're like, wait, I can do this for them,
Mhm.
And then you kind of have that, I don't know, you have to. Maybe that's just me though. I feel like I have to.
Mhm. Yeah, that support
It's
is
a
really
community, it's a team.
I can't imagine how you felt when you found out you weren't alone, that there was a whole community of people just like you.
I mean, otherwise I had a bad pattern or something, like you
Right.
just don't know at the time. You're like, wow, this is so weird. Your intuition is always screaming louder though, that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, finding that group was like obviously the best thing. And it's another family. I love families. I have little
Yeah.
families everywhere, I have the
Yeah.
gym and this
I love
inventor family, and it's just nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, let's switch gears a little bit. I was wondering a couple of things because I know you're a coach. I think I just have like a couple questions, maybe three, depending on how this goes. Um, so my audience and me are really interested in mastery of any kind. And so I intentionally bring people on my show who are excellent at what they do. And I don't care what they're excellent at because I believe mastery of any kind can be applied across all spectrums. Um, and I consider you to be a master in your sport. And one of the things that I am curious about, because I am not a professional athlete. In fact, I denied calling myself an athlete up until probably last year after I put 2 years of work in to finally go into a competition. And I'm in my 40s, right? So athlete has not been like part of my identity my entire life. And so it was all new to me. So I'm still new to this, right? This is very new to me. And I'm just curious. I want to pick your brain a little bit about mastery because what I found, at least for me, after I like proved to myself that I could actually show up for myself consistently for a year, I finally gave myself permission to buy gym equipment to have at my own house. Because I
Hmm.
was like, if I can't commit to this for a year, I don't deserve to spend the money to do this because I don't want to be one of those people that hangs stuff on their treadmill. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to
yeah.
actually make this a lifestyle. And so after a year, I bought my own equipment. So then now I have my own gym downstairs, right, in my own house. But what I found was that even though it's incredibly awesome for me to just have it at so convenient, it also at times feels really lonely. It makes it harder for me to connect with other people, and it makes it easier for me to have excuses also.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's just yeah, and so I was just curious, like what has it been like for you on your journey? Have there been times where you working towards something just felt so lonely and so monotonous and so repetitive? Or are there ways that you look at it or frame it differently to keep things interesting? Does that make sense to you?
It totally makes sense. Now the question is, how do I answer that?
I tried to
um,
frame it up so you'd have some context.
yeah, no, you framed it well. I don't know if you operate this way, but when you're speaking, I'm just kind of feeling, right. I'm feeling about, okay, what at what point was I really mastering something, right? And I'm also just listening to the lonely part. I maybe have two parts to this, but I in 2000 from 2000 to 2010, I had my townhome that I foreclosed on there, and I had a basement set up just like yours, and but it was really focused. It had a mirror, and I watched every little small detail of my jump rope setup, because a lot of people don't know this. I hate competing,
You
but I
do?
love feeling. Oh yeah, I don't really like. Oh, you won 5 world champion. I don't really care. Like I
You
like
love
winning.
feeling? What do you mean you love feeling?
I hit all my PRs in my basement, and nobody needs to know about that. Only I know about that. Right?
Okay.
There's
Okay.
there's something about this push and this fight. I can do more. I don't know where I'd have to, maybe it'll come out here in a moment, where I got that from, other than maybe my childhood. Um, maybe high-end athletes have this, right? They just have this switch, right? There's something to just switch out of it and go further and go more. And there's just like this high that you get inside of your body. And jumping really fast did that for me. And I was obsessed. Nobody had to know about it. It just made me feel good. And it's so weird though, because I wanted to be the best, but in the basement was enough, you know? So like if I did the competition and I won, it didn't matter. Like I won in the basement. I don't know. It's weird.
That
I
makes
can only
sense.
just explain to you me, especially when it came to like the individual stuff, because the individual speed event was just me. Shy Molly, you think I like going out on the floor and doing that? I don't. It meant more to me to do it in the basement, just, you know, on my own in my shy little world, and just prevailing and pushing through something. I don't know, maybe it was like my therapy or something.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering that. But you did say that you like constantly always wanted more. I don't know if you still feel that way. And that makes me wonder, is it this never satisfied kind of feeling that's the drive? Or is it this purpose filled, like this fills me up kind of drive? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would be more inclined to say it fills me up kind of drive.
Yeah,
Like
that's
kind
more
of like
healthy.
saying, like the girl who ran the marathon with that.
That's more healthy.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to say the other one. I have to ask myself, and it's okay if I'm unhealthy. I think we're unhealthy in certain ways in our life. We're fucked
Yeah.
up, in some ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, like referring to the girl with the two hips, knowing I could do something new, and maybe it would inspire other people. Like she inspired me. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
she's running marathons. I could go and do my thousands of double unders with these new hips. That just might inspire others to do more and be bigger, be stronger. So
Yeah.
maybe that is answering like my competitive side, is like, you guys can do more.
Yeah.
But the basement thing is filling me up, and just nobody needs to see it. Nobody needs to hear it.
Yeah.
Only I feel it.
Yeah. I get that.
But what's interesting, what you said is that you had to buy the equipment after you proved that you could have it.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I reflecting on that? I feel like that's not the norm, and not that you're not normal, but like, I think a lot of people will buy the equipment and then it sits there, like you said.
I knew it would mean more to me if I put the work in first, and I did feel like I needed to earn it.
Yeah.
Because it costs a lot of money.
Equipment's a lot of money.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also I didn't want to put something, I mean, huge machines in my basement, and then, my husband be like, "What are you doing?" Because I've done that before, where I've been like, "I'm going to do this thing." And then
Yeah.
it doesn't end up being a
Yeah.
long term. And I didn't want that to be this. So
No, and I respect that. I mean, it was a cool angle that you took with that. It just is.
yeah, I guess I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
But it doesn't ever feel lonely to you? Like just the process, the repetitiveness, none of that. It does to me. That's why I'm asking. And also I feel like at least in some of my friend group, I feel like I'm going against everything that normal people do. Like living a lifestyle of eating actual food, like whole foods, like when I go to social events, people look at me funny when I don't partake in certain things, and they think I am punishing myself or restricting myself because I'm not choosing the same things that they are, or
Yeah.
because my lifestyle now is that that I'm making it a priority to work out, and I'm looking at it totally differently than they are, and it feels like a lonely place sometimes because it's not the norm. Like most people are unhealthy and they don't even pay attention to what they have no awareness of what they put in their mouth. They don't have any kind of non-negotiables in their life that they have to fight for every day. Cause I have to fight for this. Like it has to mean more to me than just this temporary feeling good moment of putting this thing in my mouth. Or do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I mean, the first word that comes to my mind is shame, and that's the other people. And I think the loneliness is you're spot on. I mean, anytime.
it feels misunderstood sometimes.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're also doing something for you, by the way. So if I saw you at the party and you said, "No, I'm not going to have this because I'm eating good foods at home," I think that's kind of what you were expressing by that. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Like maybe you're not going to go over the thing and you're like, hey guys, I'm just, I already ate.
Yeah,
Um,
but then being made bad to feel bad about it. That's what's so weird to me. Like, why would you do that to someone, you know?
because of shame, I think. I mean, I maybe
On
I'm
their part?
on their part. I think that it's like you'd put your head and you rose above everybody else, and they're like, shit, I could either do that and try that and be healthy, or we can try to rip her back down here and kind of make, like, no, come on, just eat the cupcakes or
And I've
whatever.
never like and it feels too like I've never put myself above anyone. I don't say that I don't want that because I'm better than you or I think I'm better than you, but it feels like that they feel that from me some I don't know. How other
They
people
do.
feel about me is not in my control. So,
It's not, and it's I think it's a hard part of life. I love this discussion. I've had this happen in my family. I have it going on in my family. And you don't know until you realize that the perception that the other person has of you is totally in their own head. It's in their own body. There's shame, there's self-doubt, there's not lack of confidence. And the more you do and you just aspire to be you, you're still a beautiful person in the sense where you love everybody, but you're
yeah.
just doing a little extra for yourself.
Yeah.
I just think creates a lot of extra stuff for the other people. Like they can't
Mm,
handle it. And then
yeah.
you realize in life, maybe my friendships are going to get smaller because you
And they
don't,
have.
and they have, and that's
Mhm.
okay. Um,
So you can relate to that to some degree. You understand what okay.
I live it.
You live
it's,
it?
it's
Okay.
probably the hardest part of life, especially when it happens in your family. If one of
Yeah.
your family members doesn't even want to speak to you,
Mhm.
I mean, you don't know me, but you should know me enough. I'm a very open, honest person. I strive to do better things for myself and stay healthy,
Mhm.
not to be like, hey, look at me. I like it.
Right.
If you would have asked me 3 years ago, hey, what do you do with food? I was like, I eat chocolates while I'm doing planks. And I was very unhealthy. Like, I, I was still an athlete, and strong, but I was not doing things for me
Yeah.
until I learned. And funny enough, when I started to make those changes, people in my life were like, "What do you like? Too good for chocolate now?"
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel
Well,
sometimes.
no, I do still eat chocolate, by the way, but no, I've found a friend and I learned that nutrition is quite important, you know. And I
Yeah,
didn't know that that meant that you're gonna hate me now. Like, all I did was try to be better for
right,
myself, be happy for
right.
me. So I've just
I
learned to
guess
be
I
around
just need
other
to,
people.
like I suppose it's a way of it's made me really pay close attention to who my real friends really are and the reasons they're my friends, I guess. I guess that's maybe a way to look at it, and it's just
100.
been an interesting journey because I have never in the last, it's only been like the last 3 years that I've really stepped out
Mhm.
in a big way, in a bold way. And it's just been really interesting to me how everything around me has shifted, some for the better, some for the worse. And it's just been like it's odd because I think I was mostly the same most of the time before that and everything was comfortable and predictable. But then when I really stepped out, really good things have happened and really unexpected things have happened simultaneously.
Maybe it's a mid-40s thing. I don't know, because
Maybe.
also for me, the last 8 years, it's been a big shift, exactly to a T, like you said. But you know what? With the good and the bad, I take all the good that come with that because the changes I've made are similar to yours. They're just personal changes, things
Mhm.
that make us feel better,
Yeah,
fitness, food, a little bit of time alone, all those things.
yeah.
Funny we bring this up. I've been really battling that, like when I don't know how you are in your day-to-day life, but like being a coach and owning a gym, like you have to be on. You're of service. You
Mhm.
can't show your shit.
Mm.
Um, and
I
I've
show my
been
shit all the time, Molly. On my social media. I mean, I try to be really honest, like uncomfortably honest sometimes. But I know
yeah,
what you're saying. Like when I'm a firearms instructor and I know when I'm on the line as a firearms coach, they want a certain version of me in that moment, is what you're
right.
saying, right?
Yeah, and I'm not saying poor me or poor you either. That's just what you are, and it is your job.
Mhm.
Um, but when you do little things for yourself, not to say anyone's saying or doing anything, sometimes you feel guilty. And I've been thinking about that lately. I thought about my hip. I think I put that off quite a bit of time. Also, just because I get a lot of gyms. When am I going to do a seminar? I need a seminar. We need to do a seminar. I'm like, I can never fix my hip,
Mhm.
So I choose that over that, and even just getting the hip replacement. It's like, damn, I kind of feel guilty. Isn't that maybe that's my fucked upness, right?
We're all a mess, dude. We're all a
We're all
mess.
a mess.
Yeah.
And it's okay if we talk about it. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of talking. If you just sit and talk to people, one person a day and just listen.
That's why I love doing interviews. I love connecting with people. I really do. I mean, certain people, not everybody, but people I can learn from,
Yeah.
So then speaking of coaching, I'm interested in your perspective on this because I have my own thoughts about this as being a firearms coach. But when you're coaching people and you've done this a lot, are there certain patterns that you see over and over in people who will grow versus the ones will stay stuck? Like, what are the things that you see when you're coaching that, I mean, after a while you get a sense for people. It seems like, at least I can say for me, that seems like I'm not always right, but it does seem like there are patterns over and over that I can see. The ones that I know that will continue and that will grow, and the ones that I know, and not to say that they can't change and get in a different, frame of mind or mindset and not grow,
Mm.
but I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
First of all, I love being a coach for that reason, because you never know who you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a beauty, because I think otherwise it's hard for me to have a job that just kind of stuck, right? I need to like be a mess,
Unpredictable.
Coaching's a mess. It is, because you're going to get, like you said, not only just people who you don't think will grow is really, I feel like your job is to find out why.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do I want to say that? So I don't know how you coach, but I feel like I have some gift, and I don't know what you chalk it up to, but I can get into somebody's body. Literally, I just I feel them. And that helps me. Like I can, I don't know. It may be just weird that I'm even saying that, but I'm just sharing that with you. So I start there first, but
Could you explain that a little bit more? What do you mean by that?
it's just a feeling. It's so weird.
You get in their body. Is that what you said? Does that mean you
Yeah.
feel
So
what they feel, or?
yeah, I can almost feel why maybe they are unable to rack a bar this way. Like I can feel that, and I'm able to then speak to them through them, because I know why they're restricted.
Because
It
you've
would be the
felt
same.
that before too yourself? Is that why you feel like you can feel it?
Yeah, I mean, it is helpful to. I mean, maybe that's how I am able to do that. Just playing so many sports and having so many experiences with feeling different positions.
Mhm.
I love that I have that, whatever it is, and I love that you're asking me, because I've never shared this, and it's a great conversation, right? My whole last 5 years has been about patent law, so this is good. So Molly, how do you coach? I just get in people's body.
That's kind of a big deal, Molly. I mean, that's like a coaching superpower.
Yeah, and perhaps I just learned it as a young age. I told
Mhm.
you I was 7, 8. I was going to all these countries, and maybe that's just how I learned as a kid. As kids, we're so like, don't you love that when we were kids? I love working with kids. They're just so sponges, and we're just
Mhm.
so open and
Yeah.
vulnerable, and it's okay. It's also
Yeah.
scary, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm just closing my eyes, and I'm just trying to think of, like I'm trying to answer your question. So what do I do with those people? I mean, I always have like little checklist in my brain. I'm like, can I just speak it? Can I tactically touch them? Can I talk about a totally different topic, like an emotional one that reflects pain, fear, psychological? Maybe that's why they're not able to do it, as you said, like they're not going to progress. I'm like, oh no, they are, but we got to go deeper. Like there's some
Mm.
psychology going on. So
Yeah.
I'm really angling in all these directions. I mean, of course, the first one's just gonna be like, hey, we're gonna cue this, and then let's just see.
Mhm.
And maybe that's when I jump in the body and I feel, and I'm like, okay, this is their hang up, right? It's a
Mm.
psychological one, or you just, maybe I just talk about their childhood a little bit or something, I don't know. I hope I'm
I
answering.
love that you don't know how you do the magic, because then it wouldn't be magic, right?
Yeah, and you're like kind of an intuitive or something, or you've been following me around. I've been doing
No.
I've been doing my remote clients, right? Because I'm not active. I'm not jumping right now. I can still coach not jumping, but it doesn't matter. Um, I watch them on the video, and then just like something like goes in me, and I just like start typing.
Hmm.
And I even asked myself the other day, I'm like, how do I know? Like, am I just full of like crap? Or how do I know that? Like how does it just flow so fast? Or maybe it's just time. I mean, I've been jumping rope for 40 plus years.
Hmm.
And
It's
I'm
probably a
starting
lot of
to,
different things.
I just love it, and anytime we look for a coach in the gym, I don't care what book studies you have, but if you are good with people and
Yeah.
you genuinely want to ask questions, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like the psychology, especially with fitness and food, is so important. It just
Hmm.
is. I don't
Hmm.
know how nutritionists, is that what they're called? Nutritionists
Hmm.
do it. I mean, that's a hard job.
Hmm.
It's a hard
Yeah.
job. Food is such a
Yeah.
weird.
Oh, it is so weird.
I mean,
Yeah.
fitness is one thing, but like, but tracking back, why jump rope? I mean, I told you. I mean, it's just to me that was the accessible one for kids, and
Yeah.
how cool, right? Just to get maybe. And I always ask. I mean, maybe I want to get my other hip done since I've been in so much pain. I think I can get more active. I don't know. More to come. Maybe in the next 10 years, I'll take over the country with jumping rope kids.
I love that you don't know, and but you're still willing to dream big. Like, I just love that you're open-minded like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is an open-ended everything. I mean, I'm grateful it's jump rope because it is a unique little, sport.
Hmm.
I don't think a lot of people think like jump rope. It's a thing. I'm like, no, it's
I
a thing.
never knew it was a thing. I mean, it was all new to me. When Adam told me about you, I'm like, "She did what now?" I was
Is she?
I I'd never heard of it before. I mean, I've heard of jump rope, but,
Right.
yeah, he's like, "No, you have to meet Molly. She is awesome." So I really appreciate that you took the time. Um,
Yeah.
so you've you've been very candid, which I appreciate, by the way. You've been very candid with your struggles. You, are very honest in the fact that, like, I what I'm hearing you say is like, "Yeah, I realized I've worked hard for what I have. I'm not a quitter. I'm gifted in some areas, and I know that, um, but I still struggle." And, like, that to me is just so honest, and I just love that about you, and I appreciate that you're so honest about it. I'm wondering, like, for you right now, I know the hip surgery is a big deal. What is the thing that you feel like maybe is like holding you back now, or what is your next thing, just you personally? And you can get as personal as you want or non-personal, I don't care, but like what is the next thing for you, Molly?
Um, yeah. So we people can hear my story and say, damn, she really got the short end on that patent deal. I did. I mean, it was an injustice. Today I would still have my patents because the law, right? It was a political thing. So,
Mhm.
um, how am I framing this? Is that really opened my voice in a different way? Um, I have never been. This is going to sound weird. I haven't really been in my own feeling of myself, maybe been valued for my brain and like what I do,
Mhm.
but rather for my body and what I can physically show you. I can, oh, Molly, she did the 10 minutes of double unders. And there's a thing with that, like, oh shit, I gotta perform, even when I do a seminar, it's my smarts are coming out, but I'm also like, I have to show Molly, show your tricks at the end. And
Oh,
I'm making that sound, and if anyone does a seminar, I'm happy to do it. But doing the patent reform stuff, holy cow, talk about feeling inadequate for one. I'm
yeah.
not an attorney, but I like to learn, and I need to learn in order to be smart and to be able to speak to these Congress people. Where am I going with this is that the last couple of years have helped me kind of answer this question right now is what's holding me back is still a little bit of that.
Mm.
Um, it's so crazy how a lot of people think like, Molly, you do everything. You're fine. You're so confident. And I'm not. I'm just not.
That's what people
I
say
have
to me
so
too.
what's that?
That's what people say to me too, and I feel exactly the same way you do.
And I'm like, you guys, like, I'm glad I make it look easy, but it's so hard. And and like, I don't know, we were about to start this call, but I'm like, hey, like, how do I do this and that? Like, I need help. I need to know how to do certain things to get my voice out there, to get my products out there. And I block that sometimes, and I have to ask the question, why do I do that? Why
Mhm.
do I become meek when I'm, assumably this.
Gosh, I do the same thing, Molly.
Yeah.
I'm
So
that's a great keep talking, I'm gonna plug your website while you're talking.
okay, so when you say what's holding me back this year, my hips won't be anymore. I mean, because that was a
Mhm.
true thing, and I was in a lot of pain. But I think that the better answer is not what's holding me back. I'm not going to let it hold me back anymore this year.
Yeah,
And saying that to you and saying that to more people will make me hold like onus to that. Like I have to
accountable.
do it. So
Yeah,
if I don't say it, I'm not going to do it.
yeah.
Um, and I don't want to die next week knowing that I had all these things that I want to talk about in my sport and things I love and the tools and the technology. And like I got to tell you, my content, I am so scared to share it. I have
Really?
been in so much fear. Well, why would I not want to share something when it's all been stolen and taken away? Like there's this whole
Mhm.
mixed up thing about protecting, and then if you share, everyone's just going to steal it anyway, and it's going to throw you under. But I'm learning,
Oh,
like, why should I care? I shouldn't care. I should just share.
hmm. Yeah, I can
So
see why that would be hard for you, yeah.
yeah. And even from the beginning, I mean, there's just so many things that happen as a business owner, nasty things. I had this jump rope coach come see me in 2010. I love what you're doing, and I'm going to buy your ropes. And then guess what happened? A month later, he had, I don't know what it was like. I'm jumping rope, and he was like jumping fun, and he copied my entire website. And he sent my ropes to India, which started a mass flood of ropes coming. I mean, those are the kinds of people that you run into, and then you just decide, like, I'm not going to partner with anyone, I'm not going to share anything, and
Yeah,
it just stacks on like
yeah,
rope. You were going to partner, like, why
yeah,
do people do that?
I
It's kind of
know,
like you say, if I go to the party and I eat the food, why are you so mean to me? Like, I'm
right.
just doing
I'm
great
just
things.
doing my thing, yeah, exactly, like,
Like,
just leave me alone, let me do my
yeah,
thing. Yeah,
right. Maybe I want to end with this, and if we're ending, is the message to everyone is just, how about this, we're all the same, this is all hard.
yeah,
And when we're going through something hard, maybe instead of deciding to be mean to somebody, because that's, fulfilling whatever shame, I keep calling that you have, just decide that the other person is feeling the same way and say, what you're doing is great and I want to do the same, and it's hard for me,
mhm.
and
Yeah, just be honest.
yeah, but I guess the honesty has to come with that. Other people who, like you, I mean, everyone thinks you're doing great things and you have no problems. You have problems.
Yeah,
And we can't assume. So
yeah, because we don't know. So for those of you who are listening and not watching, her website is Jump and Rope. It's the word jump, the letter N as in Nancy, rope.com if you want to go check her out.
yes.
Wow. What an awesome interview. I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't know it was going to be this good.
We could do this every month, you and I. We don't even have to share it because we just want to
Yeah,
talk about
we
it.
could have like I would be totally cool just having a monthly meetup. I'm totally cool
We
with that.
should. I mean, just to inspire each other to be bigger in our business and our life. I
Just
mean,
keep
it's
going, Molly, keep going.
you too. You too.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Molly. You were a pleasure to have on.
Well, thank you too, and have a good rest of your day.